Abaddon pays me a visit. A few weeks after the Apollyon Satan message was received by me, and I explored it and created a video on it, I was called outside to see the biggest grasshopper I have ever seen. There were no others, just this one huge insect. It landed on the sidewalk beneath the pool ladder. If only I had kept filming, I'd have captured my dog walking up to it, touching it, and it flying up and over the roof. It was so big it struggled to fly. I thought, Abaddon. Well, the next day I woke early to see the shadow of a huge moth on the outside of my bathroom window. It was again a singular insect of enormous proportions. A few years ago, we had a plague of moths out here in the rural desert that filled every nook and cranny outside our house. They were large, gray-brown moths, and they found their way inside the house despite our scouring every possibility and blocking every possible entrance. They were so profuse that I slept with the vacuum cleaner next to my bed so I could suck them up throughout the night. They got everywhere inside the house, in cupboards and in cups and plants. They left awful brown splotches of excrement all over, and I'd find them in the bed in the morning even, much to my revulsion. And all this despite blocking every tiny conceivable entry into the house. And I knew at the time it was the adversary, the devil. I would suck up a moth, whop, and thump into the vacuum. And then the other moths around would dive bomb me. They were like a hive mind and knew I was eradicating them. It was a real nightmare period of time that had been preceded by a mouse plague. We had never had any significant insects or any animals of any sort enter our house before, unless they slipped in through an open door as we came or went out. Our house is very well sealed and insulated, so the mouse plague was even worse than the moths, but all of them were bad. And these were then followed by a plague of rats. Thankfully, the rats did not ever come into the house, but it has taken us 3 years to get them under control outside. There were hundreds and hundreds of them, and they were getting into the vehicles and chewing the wires and doing all sorts of damage. And we still have to constantly protect the vehicles with traps. Anyway, back to the giant moth. I went outside to film it, and on the way back inside, I saw the giant grasshopper clinging to a window frame, so I was able to get more footage of it. I didn't kill it though. Should I have? You'd think I would after all the plagues we've been through. But that's not all. A week later, I had a vivid dream that I walked outside into the semi-darkness, and there I saw a bright green detailed grasshopper, more vivid than the grasshopper I saw in waking life and filmed. I knew immediately it was Abaddon. It grimaced at me, and it flew toward me with malice. Though it really couldn't harm me, I thought I should kill it. And it then flew away into the darkness, and I felt a bit of regret that I had not killed it. I also realized that a couple of negative experiences I'd had earlier in that dream day were due to Abaddon's influence. A few days after the dream of the bright green Abaddon grasshopper, I was stunned to see a singular grasshopper in my garden. I had a little deja vu and then realized this was a small version, almost exact in its markings, to the big dream Abaddon grasshopper. This time I decided to kill it. I got a pair of big barbecue tongs and I grabbed it. It was quite resilient. I let go thinking it was dead, and it flew away, so I had to go and find it. It went under a plant, and I had a little battle with it. It was attacking the tongs. I got it again in the tongs and squeezed until I saw strange fluorescent yellow-green guts squish out. I then put the tongs through the fence to let go of the offensive carcass outside of my inner yard. It dropped to the ground, and despite it being dead, it landed perfectly on its feet as if it were alive. After this, I encountered a new clone of the green grasshopper almost every day for quite a few days, and it's still ongoing. I go and get the tongs and do battle with it. Sometimes it gets away and I have to hunt it down. Other times it attacks me or the tongs. I just killed one today that was hiding in one of my little plants. Its awful, jagged, yellowy legs made me think it was a scorpion. I went in for a closer look and realized, yuck, it's another Abaddon. It's July 10th, and as I woke this morning, I had a vision where I was indoors looking up at a small emerald green plant that was in a white pot up high on a shelf. Then I heard a little child's voice referring to the plant saying, "Satan." And then there was a pause as my vision was now outside, looking under the hollow stairs that I used to climb into the hot tub. Under these stairs, all the way to the back, in the dark shadows, was a grasshopper locust that looked just like the ones I've been seeing, with awful yellow stick-like legs. But this one was really huge. It was about 8 inches long and the size of a rat. And then I heard the words, "Father of Lies." And this reminds me that about 4 years ago, one evening, I saw a clear and startling face in one of my indoor plants that was hanging up high. It looked like a face with glasses on. I thought with alarm, "Who is that?" To which I received very clearly in my mind, "Satan." What does Satan have to do with plants? As a finale to this tale, on July 14th, a third singular huge insect showed up in the morning. This was the biggest beetle I've ever seen. It was 5 to 10 times larger than a normal beetle I might see around here. I don't know what it means, but I left it alone and I never saw it again.